Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the WardiTV Monday number 44. Your weekly dose of Wardi StarCraft. I'm a coach of ZvP, live VIP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the Who in Chats, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to the WardiTV Monday. Again, every single week we are live with this event and open tournament, open StarCraft exclamation mark. Be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we are jumping right into our first series of the broadcast. As you can see here, we're jumping into our ZvP. We're jumping into Reynor versus Shameless. Let's go. There's a lot to get into in regards to the bracket, in regards to even our first starting match as well. But spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Bappy, it is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Let's jump into our ZvP. Whew, it's been far too long. Again, WardiTV Monday, I think, was on Tuesday last week or the week before, just because of Home Story Cup, just because of the intensity of the schedule and intensity of the weekends. But now we are here. We are back on schedule, back on track with our regular weekends. Let's go, baby, let's go. When it comes to our initial starting round here, again, Reynor, for those who for those who weren't here previously for the past couple of weeks, we have been bringing it up, but Reynor, he is in Korea. He is in South Korea. That is why he's able to compete in these tournaments, as typically he doesn't. Typically, he's not a part of the regular online weekly circuit. But he's now taking part on a more regular basis. Not just Reynor alongside Clem, alongside Trigger. They're all in South Korea. They're all in Korea, papi. They're all training, they're all practicing, they're all laddering, they're all getting ready and setting up for the Esports World Cup, which is in what, like less than 2 weeks? It's right around the corner. EWC is about to begin. So until then, we have players like Reynor, Clem, Trigger, Cyril, and many others all preparing, all setting up and getting ready for that World Finals. Oh boy. And we'll see if Reynor's practice is bearing fruit. I mean, again, bearing in mind that most likely certain specific builds are going to be kept hidden from the regular online weekly scene. When it comes to mechanics, when it comes to more standard play, that is going to be typically at the forefront here of what we are experiencing. So if I would give our Hatchcast pool, standard opener here out of Reynor. Likewise, Shameless going for a gate expand into Cybercore, standard opener as well. Now, we have seen a lot of all-ins from Reynor in this matchup. If you recall, covering Reynor during the weeklies last week and also during his run against Hero at DreamHack Dallas, Reynor has been hyper aggressive in this matchup and has been having a lot of success. Speaking of aggression, welcome to Pylon. Pylon is one of the smaller maps of the map pool. Pylon is known for aggression as well. It does favor these all-ins, so we're expecting that kind of play. We're expecting those kind of all-ins out of Reynor. We'll see if he does embrace them. For now, again, everything's looking as it should be. Likewise, Shameless, of course, he is a younger up-and-comer for the European region. He has been excelling and doing really well over the past 2 years, I would say. Over the past 2 years of play, Shameless has been on fire. Despite that, though, he's still up against one of the best Zerg players in the world, so it's still going to be an uphill battle for him. I want to believe he can pose a threat, though, and we'll see how he can handle someone like Reynor. So far, Pylon block, nicely done. Does go for the Pylon block. The Adept has arrived, and with that, the drone is going to be delayed. The expansion is going to be delayed. We can see the workers here. Oh, yep, going to be deterred as well. So this is really nice damage being dealt early on by Shameless. So I would say a better start here for our Protoss player. Double Adepts are going to be moving in, and we'll see if we can get into the middle line. So far, Lings, they do try to collapse on forward here, and the Adepts say they're going to be dealt with. They're going to be dealt with. They have to get the hell out of here. They will shade away, and it looks like just before Lings kicks in, they do shade. Yeah, they're racing back home. Speaking of, we should be seeing a third base momentarily. Link speed does kick in. The third base is going to be delayed, though. Shameless going for his gateway, going for his Oracle, setting up back at home. And, ooh, is forced to trigger a little bit prematurely there. So it does waste a little bit of energy here on the Oracle, but should expand. So third base is on the way. On the one hand, this third base is a little bit delayed here for Shameless. At the same time, though, the third base is heavily delayed for Reynor, so it does make up for it as we're getting in towards our game on Pylon. Now, next up, of course, we're going to be looking for the tech of choice, waiting for a Roach Horn, Evo Chamber, or Faster Lair out of Reynor. So we're going to be keeping our eyes open for any of those structures. Likewise, we have our standard follow-up here at a Shameless going Forge and Twilight Council. I would say this is a little bit early, true. Because it's so early, this might be +1 in charge instead of +1 in blink. So we'll keep an eye here on the upgrades of choice. We'll see if Shameless is maybe just a little bit frazzled from the opener, or if he does plan on something a little bit more sinister. As the oracles, they poke in, they pull away. Pull away. Oh no! Speaking of, hopefully I'm okay. Jesus, as my ping is spiking quite high, and I will leave the game. I will leave the game if my ping becomes an issue. Jesus. Speaking of. We'll keep an eye on things. We are on US Central, and my ping to US is... I spiked up to like 1,000 for a moment there, and now it's going back down to normal, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on things. I will turn on my VPN if this becomes an issue. At the same time, Lings, they do hit the third base. Getting to the shield battery, getting to the pylon. Do nibble away at the bases. So far, the Oracle does hold its own. Perhaps they do shade across. Well, they get into the mineral line, not bad. They do bust in. Drone's going to be going down. So far, 1, 2, 3 drones going to be falling. Nice damage so far. And nice damage here by the Adepts. We have the answer. It's going to be Evo Chamber, Roach Horn, +1 range on the way here. So Reynor going to be committing here into something more Roach heavy, or if not, something more Hydra heavy as well. Meanwhile, winding it back, so just a little bit distracted by the attempted timeout there. But we do have +1 in charge. As we mentioned, because of the earlier Twilight Council, that's why we brought up the possibility of charge instead. Lings, they bust into the middle line, and more probes going to be going down. 14 probes! Ay, ay, ay. That is brutal damage here for Shameless. Losing so many workers. Unfortunately, there's no kill count on the left hand side, and Shameless is that much more committed. Unfortunately for Shameless, roaches are popping out. Roaches are on the way. That will keep him safe against this charge timing. Reynor, he is going to be secure here, just needs a little bit more time for the roaches. So they're on the way. Zelts make the way between the mineral lines. They push into the bases. And they do get on top of the roaches. I mean, they get on top of some of them at least. Nice position here behind the mineral line. Lings, they do come in from behind. Queens as well. And from here, Reynor, he should hold. Yeah, he should hold. He should clean this up. Again, if there were no roaches, if this was a Ling Hydra composition instead, then Reynor would have been in trouble. But he had the Roach Horn. He was playing it safe. He was going into +1 range anyway. And he has, he defends. He defends. He shuts this down. He defends well. So Reynor from here, now he can counterattack it. And honestly, this third base is looking very exposed. Unfortunately, because of those 14 dead workers, Shameless, his own economy was lackluster. He had to reprobe, he had to resaturate. That does hurt his own army production as well. So he is heavily down in army supply. And Reynor, he's about to push. He's just waiting for his upgrades. He's waiting for +1 and charge. And once these upgrades kick in, then it's go time. And here we go. The creep is already spreading forward. The queens are wilding forward as well. Oh, hello. I had to get rid of the Fusion Esports League logo, my apologies. That was from last night's broadcast. So apologies, but here we go. Reynor does rush forward. Knocks down the initial adept. Dives on the Archons. Behind this is no Immortals. There's barely any charge lots. Blink is not yet done. And Reynor, he will collapse in. He will collapse on forward, takes out the Archons. Shield Battery's out of energy. Just consolidating the army. Just consolidating everything, bringing everything forward. And now getting on top of the Stalkers. And there's just not much left. Again, it was just a really rough start for Shameless to lose 14 probes in the mineral line. Like, the Adept harass was okay, like, the Oracle defending was fine, but yeah, just too many losses. Also, it was unfortunate that he was going for a charge timing when his opponent was going to roaches. So he gambled a little bit there. He was hoping that maybe Reynor would be a little bit more macro-oriented or more standard. But nah. Yeah, with that Reynor, he will break through against... Blink does kick in, so Stalkers, they do get behind the mineral line. Okay. Nice controlling from Shameless. He is controlling well for himself. And even though he's keeping the army alive, I can't say the same for the base. Yeah, the Nexus is going to fall. And now we can just go straight for the army. Behind this is no fourth base. There's no backup expansion. The Oracle's doing what they can. And Reynor at this point, he has done it. He has broken the back here of Shameless. From here, Reynor, he can just back off. He can drone, he can saturate, he can take up into Hydras. Or he just keep pumping out Road Ravager. He has no answer to the Oracles, but they're going to run out of energy eventually. And there it is. Hydrogen's on the way, +1 melee, wielding up more drones. Before moving in. It's also unfortunate that, again, because the map is so small, because we're on pylon, like, this does hit even harder as well, so it does punish Shameless even more. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's also one of the reasons why Shameless went into charge as well, just so he can hit harder on the flip side. Yeah, it didn't work out well. From here, Reynor pulls away. Pulls away, we're building up Hydras. Getting some anti-air for the Oracles. Storm is halfway done, and Storm will eventually come into play, and Shameless can try to muster up a defense here, but the problem here is that he is on the back foot. Like Shameless, he's pinned back, he's behind, he has to slowly resaturate. Now, if Reynor is passive, right, if he's passive, if Reynor, if he makes some mistakes, if he splits up his army, if he splits up his army and if he attacks with a portion at a time, we'll take some rough engagements and splits up, and then there's some chances there for sure. Basically, Shameless is hoping that Reynor makes mistakes. Like that's the hope. That's the plan. Oh no! Leagues they flooded. Head towards the main. Nice Storm of the Roaches. Storm does connect well. Speaking of, another Storm zones away. Shameless, he will be able to take this fight with another Storm. Storms have been solid. At the same time, Lings, they pop off in the main. They get the mineral line. Again, Shameless, he takes a good fight here, for sure. Takes a good fight. But back at home, workers are going down. Pylons are going down. Even if he does out-trade Reynor here, like, that would have been the beginning of the comeback. Like, if he were able to preserve the mineral line, preserve these probes, defend his main base while taking that fight, that would have been a stronger moment here for Shameless. But he still lost workers, and he's still down in probes. As Reynor now taking up in towards Hydras, sorry, in towards Lurkers. Infestation is not yet done, now just morphing in 5 Lurkers. Now with well-placed Storms, Shameless, he can deal with his army if there weren't any Lurkers there. Like, the Lurkers do complicate things. That's where Reynor can excel. As Reynor's moving in, pushing into the natural. Shameless going for thinking about the base trade. Does thinking about it, turns back around. He'll be able to collapse in this army. Decent Storms on the ramps with a high tempo. I think get the hell out of here. And they pull away. Storms on the Lurkers. Reserve games as well. Again, the Storms, they connect well. Cleans up the first army. There's what, 2 Lurkers left, but there's no more Storms. Even one more Storm would have been ideal. Still holds on though. Cleans up the Lurkers. Shuts down Reynor's army. Again, Shameless, he did take the better fight. So for the past 2 engagements here, Shameless, he has been out trading Reynor. He has been. But again, the economy denies the Warp Prism, denies the Warp In, and there's no reinforcements. Yeah, there's nothing left here. Again, despite the better fights that Shameless had, like, the economy just cannot sustain these losses. GG gets called, and Reynor, he will take game at number 1. GG. Ooh, GG, well played, Reynor. He will take a lead in the series, and we will soon be getting into our next game. I say soon be. I might Have to check some things, and hopefully I can join game number 2. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Because I DC'd mid-game, like I have to reconnect. I'm also turning on my VPN just in case, but we might miss out on game 2, unfortunately. If that's the case, then we might come back for game 3 or for the next series. Do apologize, just some technical issues. Oh. We're okay, we're okay. Whew. We're okay. Game 2 is going to be on late lines. And we'll see if Shameless is going to have a stronger start to the game. Again, it was just a really shaky early game for Shameless, losing all those workers, losing a lot of momentum. I did allow for the all-in for Reynor to give himself a lead. Like, even if he was taking some worse fights, even if he was taking some worse trades, he could afford it. He could afford it at that point in the game. So Shameless was in a really rough position, but now we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see if Shameless can tighten things up here early on and bring us to the ace match. Let's go. See if he can go all the way. As morning in the bottom left-hand corner of lane lines, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And this morning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. Down in the series. After the series, after this, oh, god damn it, I'll get rid of it after this game. This is not the Fusion Esports League. But after this series, we'll be catching up with the rest of the brackets, catching up with the rest of the matches to figure out where we're headed and where we are going. Getting into all the other matches that are currently underway. We'll get there, we'll get there. So now we're jumping into game 2. Crazy, it's an actual Zerg. I mean, there's typically Zerg representation in these tournaments. Like, there's usually, I mean, Rangers have been playing for the past, like, month, maybe. Yeah, for like the past month, we've been seeing, of course, like Solar, Shin, Rogue. It's just I mean, we've spoken about this before. It's just about the quantity, right? Like, there's usually like one, maybe two, like Zerg players in an open tournament like this. And I mean, the same is this week as well, right? We have Reynor and we have Shin. We have Reynor and Shin this week. I mean, we'll get into the bracket after this. So then when one of them or both of them get knocked out, then it's like, it's like Protoss and Terran moving forward. Because there are less of them, like, there's less of a chance that they have a deeper run, right? There's more, the Zerg has a deeper run, I should say. Just a numbers game at times. But that's also why we're jumping on Reynor early on. Like, typically we try to jump on the Zerg players while we can. Just to have some variety. Some variety. We'll get to the PvPs and TVTs later. Don't you worry, we'll get there. I'm sure we will. It's gonna be plenty of that. Don't worry. As for now, we do have our third base. This time it's on location, this time it's on time. Reynor is on it. Behind this we do have our Stargate opener here out of Shameless. target to Oracle. And once again, we'll keep an eye open for our tech of choice here. Now, last game, we saw Shameless throw down his Twilight Council at around the same time he threw down his third base, which is why it led us to believe that he was going to go for a charge-based timing. This time, we would expect his tech to be later, just because we don't expect charge here on ley lines. So it'll be a third base, into probing, into saturation, to a later Twilight Council, later Forge, into plus and blink. He could be cheeky, he could try to go into glaives. True. Could try to. Things that collapse in. Oh! They catch in the depth. They get a depth, they get the other as well. Nice pickup here from Reynor. With that, the third base is exposed, and the Oracle is going to be kept at home. If the Adepts were kept alive, then this Oracle would be free to move out across the map to harass and to scout. But without the Adepts, the Oracle, has to stay at home a little bit longer. Now he's starting to move out, does spot those Zerglings, and looks like Shameless, he will push. He'll move out here towards the bases. Third Oracle is on the way. For now, going to be zoned back. And Reynor is keeping up. He's keeping up back at home. Here he zones away. The game will progress. Later Twilight Council, as you can see here, the third base is almost done. So much later Twilight Council, later Forge, which leads us to believe it's going to be plus on a blink. This is not as fast as it was last time. Some more standard timings here with our tech. Likewise, Shameless does push through the center. Looking for a way in. We once again have a Roach Horn Era Chamber out of Reynor. Same setup as last game. Once again, playing safe. Ooh, as I say, do get into the natural. Oh. Do get in. Nice setup here with the Stasis, with the triple Oracle as well. Stasis is set. They say bust into the main base. They do commit to the Shade though. Oh. Shading to the third. And the Lings are in position. Yeah, they're in position. They shut down the Adepts. Ooh, Oracle goes down. Shameless does overextend. There's potential with this kind of setup here, but it's going to be shut down. Reynor will clean up the Adepts. He focuses down the first Oracle, and Shameless forced back home. It's forced back home. This plus him and blink in towards Storm. Temple Archives on the way. A bit of a shaky start here for Shameless. Now, last game, it was this kind of start, and then he lost his mineral line. This time, he should be able to hold on. Ling's getting ready for the counterattack. Nice denial of the fourth. Shameless does pull away. Player's finishing up. And we'll see how hard Reynor's going to commit. Last game, he just sent it with essentially a 3-base all-in. Here he's drawn up to 71, so a little bit more saturation. There we go. 4 more drones on the way, extra gas on the way, 5th base on the way as well. Reynor, he's droning. Only a safety amount of roaches. So Reynor just being safe. The Lings, they get across the map. Going for the cannon. Draining the shields. Cannon is going to go down. Ooh, and it's go time. Okay, so we dropped up to 74. 74 workers here, a solid worker count. Getting a 5th base just for Larva, and now we have Drop Lords on the way. We have Overlord Speed on the way. It tells us that we're getting into Drop Lords. We're going to be committing here. We're not droning, not anymore. We're not taking either. Again, there's no Infestation bit, there's no Hydrogen. It's going to be purely Ling, Roach, Ravager, Queen. Speaking of, here come the Queens. We're loading up, we're moving out. Reynor, he's pushing. Someone just pinged. Interesting. I think that was one of the other observers. We do have plenty of other language casters in the stream as well, of course. We have, I think, Coca, casting in French. I think Roach breaking down the 4th base. Storm does run away the Roaches. Brutal storm. Oh. Catching up with the queens. Gets one, gets two. Nice pickups. Shameless controlling well. Snipes the queens, storms the main army, cancels the fourth base. And Reynor, he's forced back, and now he's forced to tech. Hydrogen's on the way, Hive is on the way. Now, what's important here is that this tech is late, right? Like, the Hive is late, the Hydrogen is late. Reynor, he has now realized that he will not kill Shameless. Like, it's not going to happen, so the game is going to go on much longer. And as we're progressing into a longer game, bam, Fleet Beacon, second Stargate, Sky Toss. Shameless is working towards Sky Toss. Honestly, I really like Shameless's position here, except he needs a fourth. Right, the fourth base is kind of the big issue here, and this is really at least the least amount of damage that Reynor is able to achieve. Ooh. Storm, jeez, the storm was brutal. Catching out the Zerglings. Shameless, he forces back Reynor. Here comes the fourth expansion. And Shameless, he needs a little bit more time. He needs to be able to get that fourth base up and running, and he needs to secure it with cannons and shield batteries. If he can, then he can max out. Then he can max out with Sky Toss. So much is hinging here on the fourth base. Reynor knows it. Reynor still being active. He rotates over. Headed towards the fourth. Setting up here on the right hand side. And we'll see if he can break. Oh, Shameless, as we have a bit of a pause. Now, as we get into this pause here, we can have a look at the setup. We do see that Shameless, he has most of his army here in between his bases, in between his natural and third base with Storm and Tempest. So he is ready for this main push. But over towards the left-hand side, he has only one High Templar. One Templar, one Storm. I would say that his fourth base is more exposed. Unfortunately, Reynor, his main army is here on the right-hand side. Like, he doesn't really have many lurkers here towards the left. If he did have a little bit more focus or a little bit more of a bolstered army towards the left-hand side, he could maybe break the fourth as he distracts the Tempest and High Templar. But as the army is currently split, like Shameless, he's likewise split well as well. I mean, he sees this, right? The Observer sees the lurkers, he sees the Hydras, like, he knows where the main force is. So Shameless, he's so far in a good position. It still comes down to the execution, though. You know, we'll see if Reynor can break him nonetheless. We'll see how the Stasis Trap connects. True, like the Stasis Trap is right here, ready to go off on anything. And it's about to be go time.
Game resumed.
Oh, speaking of, okay, nice connection. Takes care of the Lings, takes care of the Roaches. With that, Shameless does hold. Well, it does waste one of the Storms, which is scary because that was his only Storm. Remember, he only has one High Temple, but there's the NG overcharge. Setting up another Stasis. Cannon's going to be on the way. Reynor, he pivots, he rotates over. I do like this rotation out of Reynor, and we just spoke about it. Hey, we just spoke about how the main army is here outside of the natural, not at the fourth base, and here comes Reynor's rotation. Stasis goes off on a couple of Lings. The army has to respond. Let me just respond. Lurkers getting within range. Probe's going to be going down. Is getting a couple of workers. Decent storms here on the Lurkers. Ooh, but probes are going down. At the same time, Roaches, they sneak up on the right-hand side, but they do run into an army. That base goes down. And again, that's all the Reynor need. Remember, as we mentioned, Reynor, his goal here is to break the fourth. Not to kill, but to break the fourth base, to slow down the Protoss player. And that means that Reynor can now start spreading creep. Now he can start expanding, taking more bases, max out, and start working on that bank. And taking up into a Spire. Speaking of, tech-wise, yep, Spire is done. Upgrades are on the way. So far, Reynor is still looking quite comfortable. Shameless, again, he just barely didn't have enough here to defend. But he has been slowly building up his Tempest, slowly building up a greater army. gonna be shut down. Roach is pushing on left hand side. Nidus into the main. Let's go. Does go for the double Nidus. To the revelation, but there are just too many lurkers. The high tempo, they cannot push in. They cannot touch this army. And Reynor, he's doing it. He is doing it here. He's breaking Shameless. Nidus into the main base. Nothing inside the Nidus worms. But lurkers, they're waddling into the mineral line nonetheless. They waddle into the mineral lines. Probes going down. They waddle into the main as well. Oof. We'll lose all the lurkers though. Lurkers are being cleaned up. The fourth base is saved. And was this a little bit too wasteful here from Reynor? He does get a lot of economic damage, true. He kills 26 workers, depowers some of the production, depowers the Stargate, depowers the Robo. Shameless is holding. Tempest are distracted. Tempest is somewhat distracted. We need some storms. Wait for the slow zone. Nice cloak. No detection. And with that, the mothership does defend. Once again, Shameless, he controls his main army well. Ooh, storms on the Hydras. Storms on everything. Yeah, lurkers, they run into the storms. They do borrow in time, though. Mothership goes down. Tempest, they were lagging behind. Yeah, the Tempest are late to the party. Once again, another Nidus here on the right-hand side. And Reynor, he's barely doing enough here to break Shameless. I say barely, still quite close. Shameless, he saves the expansion, but he heals the mothership. He lost most of his ground army. Shameless has got a lot of rebuilding to do. And once again, Reynor getting ready for a split push. This time rotating towards the right. He's got Leagues on the left, main army on the right hand side. We see Shameless trying to reposition. Oh, does lunge forward. Takes down 2 oracles. Nicely done. Takes down the oracles. High Templar, they have to back up. Lurker's getting free damage. Where's the detection? Robo's depowered. Uh-oh. And okay, the observers, they're out on the map. They're with the main army. And Reynor's pushing in. Yeah, Reynor, he's barely pushing in. And again, it was close. Like, Shameless, he was holding his own for a lot of this game. But there were a couple of key moments where he wasn't quite in position, where he was distracted by Nidus runs in the main base or by Overseers in the main. I'm referring to the fight that occurred here at the 4th base where the Tempests were late. Just because they're otherwise distracted. And with that, Reynor, he should have enough here. This is massing up another army. I say that did preserve the High Templar. Shameless, he can take a fight. Can take a head-on fight. It's the harassment that's the issue here. Yeah, lurkers are getting to the natural and getting into the main. Double Nidus as well. Like, Shameless doesn't have the supply here to defend all locations at once. The head-on fight is one thing, but like the non-stop run-bys, counterattacks, Nidus worms, like that's what's killing Shameless. Moving in. To get some nice storms, very nice storms. But oh no, the High Templar, 3 of them go down, 4 of them go down. Oof. Yeah, GG gets called, takes out the High Templar, and Reynor, he will take game number 2 in the series at 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Reynor. He will claim the series. A very intense back and forth here, especially game 2. Like, game 1 was more one-sided just because Shameless, his initial build of choice, was shut down. Here in game 2, Shameless, he was able to hold his own. He was able to take better fights, better trades, better engagements. But again, we saw him pulled apart one too many times there when it came to the Nidus Storms, the run-bys, the counterattacks, and he was eventually torn apart. GG. GG well played with that. Reynor, he will claim the series, and we're going to be following Reynor into his next matchup, following Reynor in towards the Korean server. Okay, let's go. There's usually almost done. They never make it to quarterfinals or finals from what I've seen in the past couple of months. That isn't true. Like we do see players like Shin or Solar make some deep runs. I think Solar, didn't he win the Monday Night Weekly a couple of months ago? Unless that's what you're referring to. I think he won the Monday Night Weekly like back in April, I want to say. Time flies, might be time flies. Here we go. We are heading over to the Korean server here for our next matchup, and hey, we can take this moment to have a look at the bracket. Let's go. And I want to say Reynor, I think he made it to the quarterfinals last week, right? I want to say. But here we go. Let's head on over here to the bracket. Let's head on over here to challenge